A 20 to 30-year run is standing between you and being written in the history books. 20 to 30 years of a relentless grind. And what you'll realize, or my personal relentless grind, does not look like how you would expect it to, or how I expected it to. You know, when you hear you have to grind every day, you have to give every day, it really may seem like something that has to happen every single day. But the truth is, if you show up on most days, but you show up for yourself every day, then you are compounding efforts towards the greater outcome every day. And again, it doesn't have to be every single day of the rest of your natural life if you don't want it to be. The best of the best, the greats among greats, those are the ones who just keep doing it indefinitely. But if you just want to be great, if you for sure want to be one of the greats, you want to be written down in history, then it is about a 20 to 30-year run. Most people, they can put their head down for 6 months. They can put their head down for 5 years. Most people do it for about a 6 month, 1 year, five. And those are the periods in which they make those serious concentrated efforts. Like say when someone's going for a certain degree, someone's going for a certain qualification, someone's trying to make it, whatever that means initially, in whatever industry they may be in. They can be quite focused and remember the goal, remember the task, and work towards it as many days as humanly possible, back to back to back, right? And then obviously our levels of concentration vary, our levels of commitment vary, but the for me, what I've found is they vary, but within that dance, you'll find that dance in it within itself is consistency, because in your mind you're either doing it, you're thinking about it, or you're thinking about the fact that you're not doing it. you know you There is a mental preparation side of it, and that mental preparation side of it does feed into the actual doing, but it isn't the actual doing. So that's why I hesitate to say every single day, but it is really, you have to approach it as if it were truly every single day, and even though it's not every single day, it is. Does that make sense? I'll put it to you this way: most bodybuilders will train 6 days a week. I'll bring it back, and I know I just lost you completely. I'll bring it back. Most bodybuilders train 5 6 days a week. Why not 7 days a week, you may ask? Or what are the different splits? What's the frequency? What you would never ask, because you don't know what I'm talking about. The point that I'm trying to make is, even the people that are focused and dedicated on molding and shaping the body into the largest and strongest thing that it could possibly be, usually largest, most defined, etc., and that usually comes with strength, comes with muscle maturity, all that stuff. But the point is, what they realized is that the rest of the muscle is when it actually grows. When you're hitting it is when you're bringing the pain point, is when you are uh, hurting it, shrinking it down, and then as a response to that dip, it super compensates and becomes larger than it was before. So it starts at a baseline, you make it less than, and then it super compensates so that next time it's faced with that load, it can perform better. And so then you increase the load over time, and slowly but surely, next thing you know, Bob's your uncle, you have muscles. However, those people who are looking into that, you think that the more you beat it down, the more it would go up. Well, that's not the case. You beat it down, beat it down, beat it down, and in your rest time, when you feed the muscle and you rest, recover, that's when you actually do the growing. The lifting itself is the opposite. It's damaging, it is breaking down. And so, what you'll realize, or what I've realized about the grind, is it works quite similarly. And that's why I have this sort of fascination with not just sports, but bodybuilding specifically. There's a particular fascination that I have for that, because it's so interesting how the human body works, and how it sort of mirrors the mind, it mirrors life, it mirrors our perception of life, at very least. You know, is what you'll notice is that true enough, over time, you will press toward. That pressing towards will beat you down. But as you learn to push past that fatigue, the more you build the muscle of pushing past fatigue, the better you become at the work. You can, in a very real way, learn how to learn, and you can learn how to learn for longer. And that doesn't just end when you are done with your academics, when you're done with formal education. Let's put it that way. And some institution has certified you. It's like, well, in a very real way, every single day of your life is the institution, and you are constantly stacking together the skills that are making you into who you want to be. You become who you pretend to be over a long enough time horizon, because there is no pretending to be. You just are. As you do, you are. As you behave, you exist. You're perceived, but you're also putting out, and so that is the reality within that moment. And so to bring it all the way back, most people are able to give that concentrated effort 6 months, 1 year, in terms of seasonal bursts, and then you pull back, burst, pull back, burst, pull back. And a usual predictor of how high you can take it is how frequently you can burst without needing to pull back. Number one, like the fewer stop starts you have, the more consistently you're on it, the better and higher the outcomes tend to be. Um, another predicator of those bursts is desire. Because it's desire and repetition that makes the outcome, and that creates the things and the people that we want to be. Desire and repetition, and so whoever desires it the most will be the one who's repeating it the most. Um, and that is the part that seems to be waiting for most people, that seems to be waning, that seems to be an issue. And so even when you're done with that formal education, you go into life, and life becomes your teacher. And within that teacher that is life, it is within that you shape and mold the character that you eventually become. By that I mean, last week I didn't pick up a book, right? But I trained, I ate, I'm still on it. My mind is still on it. Like, I'm still on developing self. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm still on the money. I didn't specifically do anything towards studying for the test that I wrote, for example, today, the test that I'm writing next week, the test that I'm writing whenever. But I did knock out tasks that would be interrupting this time. And so, in a very real way, like I said, even when you're not on it, when you're not on exactly it, you'll be doing something that is around it, that may be an easier, shorter, whatever task, and maybe those medium tasks, and maybe before you write your essay, not necessarily mind mapping it or anything that's directly to do with the essay. You may just be opening up websites. You may just be opening up different tabs. Just those little things that trim off, say, at 30 minutes to an hour of the actual focus time when you're going to be doing the thing. And it is in that way where, even when you're not doing it every day, because I'm not writing the essay, but I'm still working towards the essay. And so it is in that way that you can make a 20 to 30 year run, is realizing that your days, it's called active rest in bodybuilding. Active rest is, on the rest day, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, for example, still do my cardio. I'm going to do some sort of stretching. I'm going to do a massage therapy, muscle breakdown. I'm going to do, there are a bunch of different things and different ways to approach it. But that concept of active rest needs to be a concept that is quite close to you when you're going for such a long run, because you will be fatigued mentally, and you will get better and better at not being fatigued. You'll get better and better at pushing through it until you find the next kick, until you catch the next run. You'll find that, say, for example, in writing, you'll write, you're hitting a bit of a block. It's like, well, I could take a break now. It's like, well, or you could keep going, and because that's the only time that you learn that muscle of pushing through is when you hit that wall. And so you hit that wall, and you keep going a little bit, and you get better and better for working for longer and longer. Because I noticed this as well, just having conversations with people about the preparation that's going into some of the tests that they were putting in now, and people are talking about, man, if I, they're talking about these 30 minutes, talking about 2 hours, they're talking about, but the way they're talking about it is as if they're doing something. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's like, whoa, I forgot. Because I've been doing this so long, not just in terms of, specifically what I'm doing now, but even when I was doing business, when I was within my business, I've been doing it so long that I just Groundhog Day, get into a routine. I set it, and I'm reading, I'm working out, I'm eating. You know what I'm saying? It's chores, it's family, it's but I set out these daily things where I'm just doing volume, and I'm just doing a lot all the time. But even if you take away all the extra stuff and you just focus on the development of self, what you'll find is that I may be spending, for example, this week, I wake up at what time? 3 o'clock. Wake up at 3 o'clock. I push until say about 7ish, of which I will give myself, say 4 hours credit for study time. I maybe say about 2 hours of that was actual focused work. But the thing is, even the not so focused work actually lends itself into. So if you want to credit me the full time that I was awake to the time where I finished studying, then then we're going to talk about ridiculous hours. We're going to talk about more than 20 hours put in within a week. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, okay, how? Because, well, I'm going to do that stretch in the morning, and then I'm going to wash, I go gym, I eat something, I'm at the library at school, and then I do another run from about 12 till about 3ish, 3ish, 4, 10 past 4, I'm leaving, I'm coming home. Doing something at home is not very likely, simply due to the untimeliness, typically, because I like to be asleep around 9ish, so that I can wake up again the next morning and do it all over again. And so what you'll find is that within that week, again, we can talk about 20 hours, just to be like conservative. We can talk about 20 hours being put in. Or, okay, if we talk about it, okay, now that's a great way to phrase it. Hours put in. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's actually try and count it. Let's try. I'm good at math, but I'm better with language. So on the Monday, let's say I woke up around 5. Um, I'd say around, say, 8ish, because I remember I went to the gym a bit late because I was studying a bit late. So yeah, let's put 3 hours in there, and then I went, came out, and then I did maybe a 1 to 4. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's credit another 3 hours there. So that's 6 hours. So that's 6, 12, 18, 21, and that's considering that Monday was the worst day that I had studied technically. Because like that was the fewest amount of hours that I put in, was 6 hours within a day. Um, and so what I'm trying to say is, when they talk about the 2 hours, that includes the defrosting time where you're still trying to you put your papers in order, do all that. Um, and for them, a 3 hour run is something where they feel like they did something. There's the old cliche, I believe, which is, losers work a little bit and they feel like they've done too much, or they feel like they've really really done something, and winners will work and still feel like they haven't done enough, you know which is, someone will put in 5 hours total the entire week and feel like, man, I'm really prepared for this, and I'll total over 20 and feel like I was still underprepared, while at the same time feeling like eh, whoever is prepared, is there such a thing as preparation? Now, I say that with 20 hours put in, is at the end of the day, if you do cover the bases, if you do put in that base level of work, then you're going to be prepared enough to tackle whatever situation they put you in. But the truth is, you don't know what they're going to ask on that day. You don't know what the question is going to be. And that's not just in tests, that's in life. You could prepare as much as you want to for a speech. You can run through every line, every this, every that, and then something happens in the moment. And this is something that's beautiful about stand-up comedy. I know most people don't watch stand-up comedy, but something that's beautiful at the moment is that great comedians, what they have the ability to do is stay within your game plan. You've worked out these jokes, and you've created them, you've crafted them into whatever you want them to be. But then at the same time, you must be able to address what's happening in the moment, because that's the funny. The funny is, we know that you prepared whatever you've come with. You have your jokes. They may work, they may not work, whatever, depending on the crowd, depending on so many variables, your delivery, so many different variables. They may work, they may not work. But when you address what's in the moment, it's like, oh, it just happened now. We're here for it. You acknowledged it. We're all dragged into that moment, and that's what creates that elation of like, oh, laughter, you know. I say that to say, when you are prepared, you can be as prepared as you want to be, but the magic happens in the moments in between your preparation. Your preparation is what makes you, or what allows you to not look like a fool, because you have a base of knowledge from which you're speaking. You have a selected subject that you're sticking to. There is a thread that we can draw through your logic train, and then from there you're allowed to go to these places, because that's where you find the magic. The magic isn't in what I wrote down last week that I had on my mind then. More time, the magic is what I have in the moment now. You know, 20 to 30 years. It takes preparation. It takes being in the moment. It takes drawing that thread. And again, you may weave very. It may the commitment level that you feel at that time, it may go up and intensify. It may dip, and the less you have those dips, the better you're going to tend to do. But also, you remember from the muscle conversation, there is such a thing as super compensation. There is such a thing where not you drop below baseline. You never want to drop below baseline. There must be a bare minimum that you have to do, right? And that, you see, now we're talking about the doing it every day, in a sense, is that there has to be a baseline, and you never want to drop below that baseline. But you hit that peak and you're super intense, and you're like you're putting 20 hours in. There's also, it says very soon after that you're putting another 20 hours in into a different subject, and then after that there's like a long break. But if there wasn't, it doesn't matter to you, because you can put 20 more within days. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And that's what makes you different. That's what differentiates you. But then after you peak, you can't stay at that peak the whole time. Or I, you know what I love? Sorry about the mic. You know what I love? I love personalizing it. I can't stay at that peak the entire time. I can't do it. Not right now. No, no, not at the level that I'm at now. I don't seem to be able to. However, I'm very much acknowledge that if the situation called for it, I would be able to bring it out of myself. But do I voluntarily bring it out of myself? Not at this moment, because that's not what the situation calls for. I'm very much operating to the outer limit of what is on offer for me, so to speak. Very much operating to that outer limit of that potential, pushing it while trying to do certain things simultaneously. And I think, to close, we must address very quickly anything worth doing takes a lot of time. Building a social media platform, I believe, is worth doing, takes a lot of time. Strengthening yourself career-wise, I believe is worth doing for me, takes a lot of time. Building your physique, I believe is worth doing, takes a lot of time. Building a good relationship, worth doing, takes a lot of time. Good family relationship, worth doing, takes a lot of time. Good friendships, worth doing, takes a lot of time. Maintaining your living space. So many subcategories we can go into, and those are basic human things that we all affected by. What I'm trying to say is, with all these things going on, just by being alive, you have a family. Just by being alive, there are people that care about you who would like to partake in this life thing with you. Just by being alive, there are certain base things. You have to clean yourself, you have to eat, you have just by being alive, those things will take some of your daily time, guaranteed. And so with all these things, looking at your time, what you realize is this: all great things that are worth doing take a lot of time. And when you commit a lot of time to them, like if you want the things you do to be worth doing, you must commit a lot of time to them. If you want something to be excellent, you must commit a lot of time to it. And when you get to the level where you've done something excellent, what you realize is, in order to get something to an excellent level, there have to be very few things that get time out of you. And so when you're going to go on this 20 to 30-year run, you're going to need to focus. Focus is the elimination of alternatives. Focus is the quantity and quality of the things you say no to. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives. And so there are many different things. You know, I was quite decent at rugby, and I could have gotten better the more that I gave into it. I gave it up because I have a dream. There are many things, there are many opportunities in life that many opportunities that I'll pass by, that I'll never get to experience. I will never be a well-versed rapper. I'll never develop that skill. I'll probably never develop poetry to a very high level, but I would certainly be decent. I'd have a decent standpoint to start with, and a decent perspective to proceed with, but I'll never be a poet at a very high level. I will never get to, like, there are many things, you know. We can talk about juvenile things, you know. I'm never going to marry multiple wives. I'm never going to, like, among other things, there are certain things that may be fantastic and that I would enjoy very much in this life, but I'm not going to do, because they don't necessarily make sense with the size of vision that I have in as little time as I have in this life. Those two things don't seem to be mutually inclusive. And so because of that, I must put away those things. Not because they're not great, they're fantastic. But if you're going to go on a 20 to 30-year run, you need to be very conservative with your time, very selfish with your time. Your time needs to be the most valuable thing to you, because it is. And so I'll conclude with that. When you're going to go on a 20 to 30-year run that will land your name into the history books, you're going to need to be focused, intentional, and deliberate. And those things have very dire implications on your time. And lastly, if someone doesn't want what you want, don't expect them to understand what you're willing to give up to get it. I've been Sage. Hopefully you did in fact enjoy today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Sage once more, standing on business. Signing out.